AskReddit by Boo Boopadoo. What's a piece of regular household maintenance most people don't know? Own a fire extinguisher and make sure it works. I live in an apartment and know there's one down the hall, but the one under the sink is way closer. I keep one next to my bed. If I wake up to a house fire, the one down in the kitchen isn't going to do me any good. When I was a kid, my house burned to the ground in the middle of the night. We had to run through the flames to escape. I'm also a big fan of a rope tied to the leg of your bed if you're on the second plus floor. We had to run through the flames because our only window for escape was 30 off the ground to concrete. With a bedroom fire extinguisher, we could have at least made a temporary hole in the fire by putting out part of the wall and couch area we had to run through, or maybe the floor to make running easier. Anyway, bedroom extinguisher. Empty out the crumb tray in your toaster. I once tipped a cockroach out of a toaster. The horror. Edit. It's been such a nice way to wake up in the new year, reading all your comment stories about cockroaches and mice in toasters. Cleaning the filters of any kind. Your stove exhaust fan. Ours is built into the underside of the microwave, likely has metal filters. These you can remove and wash in the sink. The first time we did it in 20 years, it was dripping with yellow oil residue. Just tightening screws all over your house. Tables, chairs, oven door, ceiling fans, handles, doorknobs. If it has screws and moves, it needs tightened. I do it about once a year and I'm always surprised by how many things are not tight anymore. Edit. For the love of God, I get it. Blue Loctite. This is good advice. My newish table has gotten wobbly and I forgot there's a dead simple solution. Shocked how many people don't empty the lint trap in a tumble dryer. That shit can ignite. Even if it doesn't catch fire, it stops the dryer from working well. You'd think that'd be the first thing to make people check it. Vacuum out the condenser coils under behind your refrigerator. They get clogged with dust and pet hair. Mine are under the fridge and impossible to reach with my vacuum crevice too. I've bought brushes and other things, but the coils never seem to get clean. I feel like my refrigerator isn't running efficiently. The dishwasher has a debris trap that needs to be cleaned as part of regular maintenance. Also, clean your dryer vents, not just the trap. I just found my dishwasher debris trap, 8 years after buying the dishwasher. I expected it to be disgusting. There was nothing in it except part of a sticker that had come off the bottom of a glass. IDK what everyone else is putting in their dishwasher, but I feel like if 8 years pass without issue, I don't need to clean it regularly. This is a really depressing amount of maintenance I've apparently been slacking on. Time to burn the house down for the insurance money and go back to the apartment. You really think your landlord was doing all this when you lived in apartments? Your dishwasher has a filter, clean it out now and then. New ones do. Older ones had grinder pumps that would work like garbage disposals. Nah, indestructible. I really do like my new dishwasher, it does a better job. But man, this filter clogs up pretty easily. Clear your washing machine. Lint out of dryer. Scrub your sink including the tap and the plug. Clean your jug kettle. Clean the extractor fan, kitchen and bathroom. Cleaning the washing machine is relatively easy but makes such a difference, especially if you hang dry. Wipe the underside lip of your counters. Most people only wipe the top and sometimes sides. So much gunk drips over and clings to the underside as well. Occasionally exercise the individual water shut-off on all of the supply lines. Hot and cold on the sinks, toilet supply. The time to find out they are seized or won't seal is not when you have a broken water line or fixture. It may already be too late for some really old valves, which can then leak or break. For your information, be sure to only do this while the hardware store is open or you can get a plumber out. Not fun on a Sunday when a valve doesn't seal. I found a second, completely unhidden but also unknown to me, filter in my shark vac 2 days ago. 5 years of dust in it. I couldn't even tell what the filter was made of until I rinsed a half-inch of dirt off it. Oops. If it wasn't you, it was somebody else that discovered it because of a thread I was in talking about my shark vacuum. Person was like, a second filter? Technically there are 3 filters, if the shark vacuums are all mostly similar. Puffy one, the thin one below the puffy one, and then the heaper one encased in a plastic exoskeleton. You need to periodically wash the walls and ceiling. Wipe them down. Get the doors and baseboards. Wipe off the molding and the window trim. They all get just as dirty as the floor. I use a dust mop to dust my crown molding and baseboards regularly. The long handle means I don't need a ladder or to crawl on my hands and knees. I can do my whole condo in about a half hour, easily. Making sure that you don't have your rain gutter's drainage spout near the foundation of your home. Lead it away. Homes with drainage spouts that end at the base of the spout's mouth, typically the pipe that moves the outflowing water straight down to where it hits the ground, tend to have that rainwater pool around them slightly. That water then slowly, over time, seeps down and that can eventually lead to cracking in your home's foundation. And I will tell you that that is indeed not a cheap fix. So, I suggest getting an extension for the mouth of the spout that leads a few feet away. It can possibly save you from a major structural issue in the long run. Depends on where you are. Where I lived in TX we actually had to water our foundations. I have a lot of these. I've sorta had a weird unhealthy obsession with optimizing home maintenance, so I've spent time going through the manuals for all my appliances and reading a lot about it. The one I've never thought of before is lubricating your garage door opener coil. It's memorable because, though it hasn't happened to me yet, the stories of those coils breaking are kinda terrifying. Oh, and quick plug for a super high quality and free app for stuff like this called Upkeep. Recently watched a few videos on lubricating the mainspring, and after doing so it definitely operates a lot quieter. Unscrew the aerator on your faucets and clean them at least once a year. Clean the heads of the shower and kitchen sink faucets too. Cleaning the clips on the toilet seat. I just installed a bidet and damn, I wish I had been doing that more regularly. Take your toilet seat off and clean. Many moons ago I learned the phrase toilet butter from the exact same response to the exact same question. I clean under the plastic caps now, too. Washing machine filter. Most people remember dryer lint traps but neglect the washing machine until it literally won't drain, and that is super annoying. Edit. Apparently this is a most front loaders thing. Ignore if you're a top loader person, sorry for confusion. Grew up in Australian drought and have seen about 2 top loaders in my entire life. How do I find out more about this? We have a newer top loader and I don't remember reading anything in the manual about a filter. It just flashes self-clean every so often and we know to run a cleaning cycle. I usually throw some vinegar or baking soda in before I start this cycle but never thought about cleaning more extensively. Everything needs cleaned. Everything including walls, ceilings, undersinks, light fixtures, vents, and the space around the water heater. Good housekeeping keeps shit from breaking down as quickly, and saves you a buttload of money in the long run. It also helps you monitor issues. You will notice every wobbly hinge and weird patch in your home. How do you clean popcorn ceilings? There are some cobwebs up there that I tried to reach with a Swiffer, but it started to get stuck to the popcorn, so I stopped. You have an outside AC unit? Pull the fuse to the unit. Carefully unscrew and open the top. And wash the inside fins with a water hose. Don't bend the fins. Do this yearly and it will help with keeping your house a little cooler for a bit less money. They also have spray-on fin cleaners you can use every few years. I would say one of the things people know but always forget is to put faucet covers on your outdoor spigots, as well as leave the water dripping inside from a sink or two if it's extremely cold. At least here in the PNW, since it's so rarely below 30-35 at night, people forget and then a major freeze happens randomly and I see multiple people with tens of thousands of dollars of damages from water. Last year my dog walker had 2 clients who had damages, I think. And mine nearly froze over because I forgot when I had done it the year prior. It just doesn't get that cold here, so no one truly knows it, even if we know it in theory. On that note, I also highly suggest water detectors, and putting them under your fridge and sink as well as dishwasher and by the water heater, because if you can turn off the water when a leak starts, you can save thousands in damages immediately. This depends on your system. Mine can't freeze unless I can't maintain the temperature of my home. Some people definitely need to let their faucets drip, others don't. Bleeding the radiators then repressurizing the boiler. Learned this in my late 20s, had lots of boiler trouble. Had to teach some friends about bleeding radiators. Recently moved into a house with radiators. They were common in the area where I grew up and I knew that I would need to do maintenance of some kind. My husband had no idea. The biggest giveaway that they're overdue for maintenance is the noise. They shouldn't groan, tick, etc. It's way easier to do it at the beginning of the winter season instead of trying to get the boilers and radiators cooled off. Nobody wants a cracked boiler. Some vacuums have a washable filter. Clean the things you clean with. Clean the vacuum, the dryer, the washing machine, dishwasher, etc.